Okay, all right. So today is Thursday, April 22nd.
That's Dick calling you, I bet.
Hey, Mike.
He's not calling me.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. This is the Lake Management Committee meeting.
Yeah, you need, well, I'm on it, so I don't know how to send it to you.
Here, Mike, I'm gonna mute you, okay? Okay. You're good, Mike. We can't hear. Okay, so all meetings of the Lake Management Committee are recorded. Meeting notices pursuant to the Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Lake Management Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and/or parties with the right and/or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Office of the AG webpage at mass.gov. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted. The town will persevere conference call capabilities regularly for other parties to listen and participate accordingly. If not possible, we will post on the town's website an audio recording as soon as possible after the meeting.
Okay. Dick.
Now I can hear.
All right.
Here he is.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anything. It was getting, all I got was a few chopped up words.
So Annie did the announcement, so I think we are rolling.
Okay. Let's take a inventory of who's on.
Oh, yep, go ahead.
Norm,
Here.
Mike Coombs,
Yes.
Malcolm, no, he texted me. Mike DeBay. No Mike?
No, Mike.
No Mike. Okay, I'm here. Scotty? Scotty Graves said he was going to be on. Deb?
Yes.
Eric?
Yep.
Paul?
I'm here.
Okay, and guests? Who do we have?
Doug Moglen's here.
Okay,
And somebody, Peter Courier, you're muted if you're trying to say something.
I'm just here with the Westfield News. I don't have anything to contribute.
Okay. Okay.
okay. And anybody else on? Anybody unaccounted for?
I don't see anything.
Oh, Jerry was on, but I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
see
yeah,
him anymore.
Jerry's on.
All right,
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah,
Jerry,
thanks,
you're
man.
on?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. I think we got everybody counted for now. Okay. And Annie, you read everything already?
Yep, we're good to go.
Okay, so we'll start with the minutes.
All right, Eric.
I found a problem on item 13.
Item
There's a-
13.
We are missing the word not. I'll show you. The first sentence is correct. It is important to note that boat lifts with canopy count as square footage. A lift with no canopy does not count towards the square footage. We're missing the word not.
Hold on a minute. Lift with no canopy does not. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
We
that
can-
makes a difference.
Yeah. The little not.
Yeah.
thing.
Okay. Anything else, anybody?
Yes, this is Norm on page 4. Under the chapter 91 bullet, next to last bullet.
What, on what, not, oh, the circle page 4,
Yeah,
okay.
chapter 91 bullet. Yep. Okay. Where?
Yeah,
The next to last bullet, 84 Point Grove Road. This
you're,
matter should not be discussed publicly until it is revoked. I believe it should be resolved.
Oh, yes, I agree.
all right, that was on, yeah, chapter 91, and which one was resolved? Because you were kind of breaking up.
84 Point Grove Road.
Okay,
You see the word revoked on the end of the first line, it should be the word resolved.
the matters.
Thank you. I didn't quite get that myself.
Okay. Got it.
Good catch.
Anything else? Have a motion to accept as marked?
I'll make a
So
motion.
move.
I'll second.
All right, so, yeah, who made the motion?
Norm?
Norm? And Eric, you seconded?
Sure.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous? Let me just run down. Norm,
Yes.
Mike Coombs,
Yes,
me, yes. Scotty's not on. Deb,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Okay, that's unanimous, confirmed. All right, so we can start. Let me go to page 7, which is the Conservation Commission update. Norm?
And there is no update as they did not have a meeting since our last meeting.
Right,
Okay, no meeting. That makes it easy.
yeah.
That was brief.
The next
Yep.
one is on, next one is on May 5th, I believe.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, you go quite a bit time.
Yeah, May 3rd. I don't know, I'm not sure why we didn't have that one, but.
It was the holiday, Patriots
that-
Day.
There you go. Patriots Day, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we can move on to docs on the agenda. And we got the docs in. It was Norm, Mike DeBay, Malcolm DeBay, myself, Paul Murphy, and we had 2 ramp attendants, Tom and Ken, and DPW, Rich Bozak and Jason Stevens with their equipment. And we had some issues with chains that were stuck, literally stuck in the mud. I mean, we've never had it where we couldn't pull them out of the goo. I guess that's another thing to well, hopefully when we get some dredging going, we could dredge that area because I know that's pretty deep in goo. But at any rate, what we had to do with one of them was leave it the way it was, and the divers are gonna try and free them up. We tied them off with cables instead because we just couldn't bring the chains all the way up to the, the chocks that are on the ends.
Mm.
And it's the very last dock, the 4th one, the newest one. That's kind of the visiting dock. That's the one we had some real trouble with. So anyway, it's going to sit there. It's perfect. It's fine. It's not going to move around or anything, but it just took us a lot of time, a lot of sweat to get that thing in place. And the buoys, DPW moved them all to the north ramp, and Rick was going to put them in today, but it was snowing, windy, not exactly conducive to putting in buoys. So whenever I'll check with Rick and see what his next, when he might be able to do them. So at any rate, we do not, buoys are all ready to go. The boat's all ready to go, but weatherman's not cooperating. And the next one was the lake treatment. And the lake treatment is scheduled for the 17th of May, and they're going to do the assessment on the 6th of May. So Solitude will be here on the 6th to map the invasives. And then again on the 17th, which is a Monday, they will actually do the treatment. So that's just an update for everybody. I did send all that information to AgCom, and they're all set. So the next thing that's on there is the signed versions of what you saw that were the ones ready to be signed for the request for funding from federal funds and state funds. And they read the same as before, just now have all the signatures on them. Does anybody have any questions on those? Because we're really focused on funding the weir gates, the 2 weir gates on the Berkshire Avenue culvert. I thought about trying to put that inclusive in the S319 grant that we've been drafting, kind of roughing it out to see what we could do. But the cost of the weir gates, our match would mean we'd have to literally put money into it. If we stay with just the drainage that we had talked about, there's no money involved. It's just some of the work we've already done will count as our match, which is new, by the way, for the S319 grants. They have not done that before. So this is a kind of a big plus. Had a nice talk with two of the people that administer the grants in DEP, and we rank very highly with them in terms of what we've accomplished with the previous 3 grants. So they want us to reference those and all the other work we do around town, and the fact that we have a vac truck and we do our own cleaning of basins and the base separators and whatnot. That's all really positive. So we will continue on that path as we kind of rough out the documents that have to go with it. The coming up after that is page, let me find the page. It was jet ski rentals.
20.
20, thank you.
Yeah.
So if you go to page 20, this showed up.
Dick, am I right? There's a bylaw against jet ski rentals on Congamon, right?
I don't know if there's a bylaw on jet ski rentals, but you can't rent, there's a state law, the CMR that covers the ramps.
Right. You can't use that as an
As a
operator.
business, right.
Right.
You cannot sell anything, any services, any items, anything from any of their facilities.
Right. But I also recall several years ago when there was an update. Do you recall there was an update to the bylaws? And one of the things that got put in there was no jet ski rentals.
I'd have to look at that, okay?
Yeah, so I suggest looking that up. I recollect that was one of the things that was put in a number of years ago. Basically because there was because of traffic and safety. But the point was, at that point, there were no jet ski rental places on the lakes.
Right.
And we wanted to make sure that, because once one gets started, now somebody's got a business, and what are you going to do? Shut them down? Whereas, so that's why we got ahead of it.
Okay. So it would have to be in chapter 75 or 76 in one of those two.
Yeah, so I would look at that. But then the other point you're making also, you're not allowed to operate from the state launch facilities, as a business.
That's correct.
So,
Okay.
so what has to happen here is somebody, can somebody official communicate with this company and tell them, hey, you can't do jet ski rentals on Congamon. You don't have a way to do that.
I can send that to the director at Fishing and Boating Access, because it's their property and it's their CMR. And I think it would be better to have it, unless somebody thinks otherwise, better to have Doug contact them and explain it. So I'll take that action item unless somebody has a better idea.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised somebody thought they could just do that.
Yeah. Well, the reason that there's a public access is so strong on this is that they had somebody trying to rent duck boats
Right.
out of their ramps.
Right. I mean, now I don't know. They may have problems at the other lakes also, not our problem, but certainly at Congamon, we don't have a way for them to do this.
No, I will forward that information to him directly. All right, I've got that one. Anything else on that? No? Okay, the next one is the Wave Armor Floating Docks, which starts on page 23.
Yep.
And we started, this was at the end under other, we started the tail end of the last meeting and dug out some more information on them, which is pages 23 through 33.
Yep.
And these things are basically open configuration. You can make whatever you want.
Mhm.
But what prompted this was there was one input to Concom for a local permitting program permit for a year-round version of these,
Right.
where they would leave them in 365. So that violates the local permitting program unless there's a variance issued, and the variance has to be issued based on,
Hardship.
hardship. And just because you don't want to, take them out is not a hardship.
Right. And it's a balance of hardship and safety, right?
Yeah, and these are light, so it's not like you have to lift something that's 400 pounds. So that, I believe the one, I don't know if they put anything in, but I think at the last meeting, somebody said there's one in South Pond.
Yeah, there is. Well, there's a pair in South Pond.
Okay,
They're two together.
okay,
He's been using them for several years. He takes them out every year.
okay, that's good.
Yeah, no, he takes them out. He takes his dock out and he takes those out with him. And when he
Excellent.
puts his dock in, then he puts those in too.
All right, because the one that input Concom was, the plan was they were keeping them in year round. That was what their request was.
Yeah, no.
So I don't think there's any disagreement here. I don't hear anybody saying, they should be allowed to keep them in year round. So it becomes a safety hazard.
Yeah,
And having those things in the ice will destroy them when you think about it. They're not that big and they're just held by poles. So I could just see them breaking loose. Now the
Mike
next,
DeBay.
say again?
I'm just saying, Mike DeBay has joined us.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. Excellent. Let me check them on here.
Sorry, I'm late.
All
We
right.
found him.
All right, so we got Mike. All right, so the next one that's on here was trees and stump removal, which is 34 to 38. We have about, I think there's seven trees at the north ramp. Most of them are locust. There's 4 locust, 2 catalpa, and what the heck is the other one? Diseased maple. But anyway, the trees that are being removed are diseased and also are dropping pretty good sized leaders all over the place. It was a mess this spring for cleanup, and the locust are messy trees to begin with, but there's some pretty good sized leaders came down and they're bouncing off the roof now. So, we want to get those out of there. And the public access is paying for the tree removal. And I have a town contract from them. It's sitting, I don't know who all has signed it so far, but the select board has to sign it. They have to vote on it at their next meeting, which is next Monday or Tuesday, Doug? Doug, you still on?
I'm here. What's that, sir?
Your next meeting, select board meeting is next Monday or Tuesday?
Monday.
Monday. Okay. So that's on your agenda for signing the town contract with the Mass Office of Fishing and Boating Access. And that'll fund removal of the trees and grinding of the stumps.
I think they have to ratify that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good.
Doesn't the Conservation Commission have to approve that too? 'Cause it's-
Nope, we're way over 100 feet away. I already talked to Dennis about it. So we are outside the zone.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah. And yeah, these are not trees that would be included in Wetlands Protection Act. The next thing that's on there was interesting posting. Page 39 was about lamprey.
Yeah.
It was an ugly picture.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody saw the original picture of it, but that is one ugly looking thing. You sure wouldn't want one on you.
According to Ken, they mostly don't latch onto people.
They don't bother people. That's good.
Fish, they bother, but not people.
Okay. So, and you can see Dennis had a comment. He's seen them at his place
Yeah.
and was told that they, migrate. So, apparently they swim around in streams. Not that familiar with them, but like I said, one category is that they're ugly. Maybe to another lamprey, they're good looking, but
Yeah. I had thought they were only sea ocean going things. I didn't know they were
Yeah.
freshwater.
yeah, they're in freshwater.
Yep.
So
It's not,
anyway,
it's not the only kind of eel. My neighbor in South Pond says he's caught eel right off the end of his dock.
lamprey or eels?
Eels.
Eels,
yeah.
yeah.
There's a bunch of eels in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, those I've seen in the grasses and whatnot.
Yeah.
Seen them in the canal, and in the kind of the mucky areas where it's grassy.
Apparently raw chicken is a good bait for catching them.
All right. And let's see. There was an email. If there's no other questions on lamprey eels, lamprey.
No.
There's on page 43, there was an input on the stocking and want to know why they couldn't stock North Pond. And the reason you can't stock North Pond or South Pond for that matter, you have to wait for the trout to swim there, is because there's no public access in North
Right.
Pond or South Pond,
Right.
where the
Right.
state can back their truck down and dump in the fish. So, it's there, it's state agency to state agency. So they put them in on state ramps throughout the Commonwealth, but they don't put them in on private. So at any rate, I explained it in the response on the email. And it's just the way it is. They do eventually get there, but they don't start there. And I guess there's been, from what I understand from several people, is they've stocked now twice north and south ramps. They've come with trucks and unloaded. So, do we have Michelle on tonight?
No.
No? All right, so we can't do a CRC update unless there's anybody else. Jerry, do you have anything? Were you at the CRC meeting?
Yeah, I was there. And I think that she did express that she wanted to talk to you folks about, labeling the buoys, and you've already given her an answer on that. But I think she was in agreement. You could just put flyers up on the bulletin boards there, right at the ramps.
Yes, yeah.
I think that was about all. Deb, do you remember anything else where you were there?
No, I was in Jamaica.
Oh, you lucky girl.
Poor
lucky
thing.
girl.
I didn't call in.
You didn't.
Wow. Shame.
Yeah,
Let's see. Yeah, I think that was about it. I mean, there was a discussion about it, but I think it's something that had already been answered.
Yeah. And be fine to put them up. We can put them up in both kiosks, the one
Yeah.
at north and the one at south.
Right.
So, and they
Yeah.
get there's a lot of people hang around those. So, and they're lit up at night. So you can read them at night too.
Sure.
And we are putting up the latest set of town bylaws and the CMRs that are applicable at both ramps behind the glass. We're going to replace them all because there's been quite a few changes over the last few years in the CMRs and in the town bylaws. So I made up a nice new set, and we'll swap everything out as soon as it's not snowing out.
will there still be handouts to people?
Yes. Oh yeah. There's a huge stack of handouts.
Good.
Yeah. And the handouts summarize, you can go read the details in what's in the kiosks, but the handouts are what we did at meetings back probably 6 months ago. Remember when we revised,
Right.
simplified them?
Yeah.
So that's what's being handed out. They probably have 300 or 400 of them at the north ramp, and we'll just restock them as they run out.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. And, just a general comment there is that even when you hand it to people and you explain, which the ramp attendants do, for instance, on Saturday and Sunday, 10 miles an hour before 10, and you still get people, residents come flying through, and occasionally you get the same thing will happen going full steam out of the boat ramp.
One thing that was mentioned at CRC, she talked about having solar marine grade with protection type buoys. And I think that was discussed too. I think you talked about the cost involved. But
Right.
There was also some interest in that, and they could help fund it, things like that.
You couldn't afford it.
Yeah. And I have on my notes here, it says LMC to be contacted. So
Yeah.
you may be contacted.
Yeah, I mean,
We've talked since.
I have, okay, all right.
Yes.
yeah, I mean, what I had wondered about is, putting, like, Coast Guard Marine, the stuff you see out, going out of Boston Harbor, trying to put one of those type buoys in, where I think
But
those things can really take a beating.
Who's gonna manhandle them to get them in and out?
Oh, you can't manhandle them. You need a crane.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
Yeah. So
We don't have a buoy tender.
I mean, well, my guess is that you can tow those someplace, but you're not going to get them out of the water without a crane. And
Right.
I think what we've found, right, Dick, is that for the buoys of the scale that we have, if you put a light on them, it's just not durable enough to take the punishment that people intentionally dish out.
And that was the problem.
Yeah. And yes, I bet one of those real Coast Guard offshore buoys can take it, but I think they weigh like 3,000 pounds, and it's and they're not cheap. And
Plus, if you run into one in the dark, which you're not supposed to be doing anyway, you're not supposed to be doing 40 miles an hour. It's 10 miles an hour maximum, and that's maximum based
Right.
on conditions.
Right.
And people cruise up and down Congamon at 40, 45, 50 miles an hour in the dark.
Yeah, well, but that's a different problem, which
Right.
hopefully we're going to start to get fixed with the with the proposal for a boathouse, so that our lake patrols will have an easy way to go out at night.
Yes. And by the way, I'm glad you just mentioned that. I'll just cover it since you mentioned it. I'll give you an update. Is that has been approved to be added at the north ramp. It's with the legal beagles for Office of Fishing and Boating Access. As soon as they get the form straightened out, which is all it is it's just dotting the i's, crossing the t's, but it's already been approved to do that, to allow us to put a boathouse on Congamon for the police.
Yep.
And so we're probably a couple weeks away from seeing the piece of paper that says, yay, go ahead. And then the police are looking to try and find some grant money to do the work. But I agree, once there's the ability for the police to not have to spend a half an hour to get there, because you got to pack everything up into the boat, hitch the trailer to a vehicle, bring it down, unload it, half hour later, you're on the water.
For an hour.
And whatever was going on is done. So, at any rate, that was a good point to bring up.
Hey, Paul, we're getting
Hi.
an echo from your phone.
Okay.
For some reason.
Let me find the mute button and I'll just mute it.
Yeah, I didn't want to mute you because I wouldn't be able to know when you wanted to speak.
Okay. Thank
I
you.
think do you have something in the background that that's the speaker coming into no? That may be
Sounds
what's
like he's
doing
got
it.
muted. It sounds like he's got it muted. So,
Okay, that works. Does anybody have anything else?
If this is Mike DeBay, I got one question.
Sure.
I wasn't on quick enough to ask you at the beginning. We had in our agenda, we had old issues, and we had 7 and 9 Lakeview Drive there, or Lakeview. And
Yeah.
we had the fact that it had multiple docks, and Jerry pointed out to us last week that was our last meeting, that wasn't accurate. And Eric explained what the real issue was. And I think it was in the notes under that.
Right. It was in the rental issue.
It was,
Right,
yeah, it was
we should update our agenda so it's accurate, because it'll lead to the same question over and over.
right.
Okay.
It was a que-
I
it was a
From what I
question whether or not
understand,
it was.
they've significantly reduced that to, it's going to be, I think now 1 dock each,
Mhm.
is what I heard, for each of the 2 houses.
Right.
Yeah, my point was that the dock wasn't the issue so much as the renting, it was the issue. And then we pointed that out, and Jerry brought that up, that it wasn't accurate the way it was. I just wanted to
Okay.
get it straightened out so it's accurate.
Okay,
Okay,
so I got to fix the agenda. How it's written, right. Okay,
Norm's got a question.
yeah, Norm.
The boathouse, the Conservation Commission was of the opinion that was going to have to come before them for approval.
Absolutely. All we're trying to do right now is get permission to use the property.
Okay,
But until they say we can do that, we can't even go ahead with any kind of
okay.
drawings or anything,
Right.
permits.
It'll just be a matter of the engineering approval and silt
Right.
fences and things like
Right,
that.
all the standard.
It
But the
shouldn't be-
first thing was, can
shouldn't
we
be a
do it
problem. Yeah.
since we
Yeah.
don't own the land?
Right, right.
And the answer is yes.
Okay.
So,
Mike Boomsdick, I've missed the last couple of meetings. Has anything happened with Krabby Joe's?
no, it's, again, the sale, from what I understand, was the sale fell through the most recent attempt. And I don't know, it's sat now vacant for what, 2 years?
Yeah,
Maybe more.
okay.
So, have not heard anything more about it unless somebody else has.
I believe Joe still owns it, right?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what's going to happen. I do know that Alan was telling me that that basically whoever buys it, or if Joe even reopens it, he's got to start from scratch, because Doug you may know better. having been on the planning board before. But
It was pre-existing non-conforming to zoning, and now that the use has been abandoned for a certain period of time, they lose that pre-existing non-conforming, so anything that they do would have to conform to zoning.
Ah,
Right.
okay.
So
Not
that may be real
grandfathered in.
problematic for someone who wants to buy it, because you've got setbacks plus frontage plus, I don't even know what the zone is there. It may be residential, and you may not even be able to have that use there. I don't know.
Ooh, that's, yeah,
I'd have to look at it. I don't know what the zone is, but
yeah. I don't either.
Mm.
That's interesting.
it's a shame. It's a nice property if we're.
Yeah,
maintained.
yeah. And it's been sitting vacant now, like I said, I think it's at least 2 years. It
Oh,
was
plus.
vacant before we started Congamon Road, and that went through 2 construction seasons, so we're probably now onto the 3rd year.
Okay, is there anything else on our agenda or can we wrap up?
We can wrap up unless somebody else has anything.
You forgot public comments.
Public comments. Do we have any public comments?
Doug Moglen. I just wanted to thank you,
Yes.
Dick, for changing that flag out at the ramp. You know,
Yeah.
someone had mentioned something in social media, and Annalee picked up on it, and you picked up on it and got it done.
Yeah,
And by the time I got over there to even look at it, it had already been changed. I just wanted to thank you.
I physically changed it.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I went down once and it was so windy that I couldn't stand on the,
All good. I just wanted to thank you. So thank you.
yeah, so it's done. And the one up by the visitor center is new too.
Fantastic.
Hey,
So,
a quick question. Is the police pontoon boat going to be on your dock this year?
yes, it is.
Okay. So they do,
Yeah,
have-
they're doing some work on it. As soon as they drop it in, it'll go on the dock. As soon as I get my
so
docks in.
that is something they can use in the evening if they needed to. Or in the
Yes,
morning, obviously.
yes,
Okay.
yeah. And that's accessible 24/7.
All right. Okay.
So, and plus they have keys to the lake management pontoon boat.
You can't chase
And what they,
people down
the
with that.
reason
Dick.
they are, yeah, the reason that they are,
Might be able to take a
Waiting.
slow swimmer.
yeah, they
There's no
need to
wind.
they need to make it a tri-tune because when they load all their gear on, it's like a submarine.
Okay, so can I make a motion to adjourn?
Somebody, so moved.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay,
I second.
Deb seconded. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Okay. We're done.